I look forward to many spirited conversations with you, Madam Majority Leader, throughout this legislative session. I appreciate you bringing forward new rules that govern this House, as I think it's important to be flexible and make government continue to work for the people throughout the pandemic. There are a couple of things in this proposed resolution that are of great concern to me. They have been throughout the pandemic and remain so today. One is the shortening of time that I have to ask you questions on behalf of the people that I represent and the people of the state of New York on this resolution or any other bill. Our rules have been changed in this proposed resolution to shorten that debate time. What's the reasoning behind that?
Well, the reasoning behind that is much the same as the reasoning behind adjusting all the rest of the rules. It's because we are in um, the midst of a pandemic where we understand how the virus is spread. And quite honestly, the more people are in the same position or area with each other, with or without a mask, the more likely the virus is to spread. Secondly, I would offer that, this these rules are about the floor of the legislature, whether the person is at home or they're right here in the chambers. That these rules don't prohibit you from having conversations with your colleagues on either side of the aisle
Yeah, Madam Majority
about
Leader.
how to make sure that there's the conversations that you would like to see come up in our shortened period come up.
So maybe I'm reading it wrong. Am I to understand then that if you are at home and behind your computer safely, you have more time to debate on any bill or resolution?
No, what I'm saying to you is these rules apply to the legislative session. They don't apply to your opportunities to call me 2 days before a session, knowing what's on the calendar to express your opinion about things, or me vice versa to you. And perhaps we've had this conversation already, then we don't necessarily need to use our time in the chambers where there can only be 30 of us repeating something that you and I have already talked about and maybe solved.
Uh, Thank you, Madam Majority Leader. Mr. Speaker, on the resolution,
On the
I
resolution,
think
sir.
this is where there is a giant difference of opinion, at least through one member and myself. And I would encourage my colleagues to vote against this resolution because, well, of course, I have the opportunity to pick up the phone and call Madam Majority Leader or any other sponsor of any resolution or legislation in this chamber. And I'm happy to do so. I'm happy to have that dialogue anytime. It is critically important we set up this body, this chamber, before there was this technology because this dialogue in this moment, the final debate before you cast your vote and do your legislative duty is important. Those last arguments need to be had. That debate needs to be had, whether it be virtually or on this floor. And it does a disservice to the people that I represent in the front yard of America or to all of the residents in New York State. There are members, 150 of them in this chamber, many of them intelligent and can come up with plenty of great ideas and things that I never thought of in debate. I want to do everything that I can to foster that conversation so that there's better policy that comes out of this chamber. Frankly, the dark of night, the limited debate, I hear more and more constituents frustrated with the way that this chamber does business. This, unfortunately, is a step in the wrong direction. So not only on limited debate time, but I would encourage the majority to hear my request when you're going to submit new rules that officially govern this legislative session, to require members to turn their screens on if they're going to be operating remotely so that there's some accountability in the legislature, to share the Zoom screens with the public like they would in this chamber. We have to continue to be adaptable in the way that we move forward and leverage technology. I don't think it should hamper the conversation. I don't think it should hamper representative democracy. And I do think we have made some great strides in the right direction. So while I'm critical of this resolution and will be voting no, I think you've made some steps in the right direction. We just need to continue to move that way. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I vote no.